On today's Domain Sherpa review, the Sherpas tell us what they bought and sold recently, including exhibit.ca, pro.flowers, and 70a.com. Think the new GTLDs aren't selling for premium prices? Watch what Frank Schilling says. We also discuss a user-submitted domain name portfolio, and the Sherpas provide some constructive feedback. We discuss names going to auction soon, including OA.uk and DN.TV. We play the Name That Price game, and we crown a new Sherpa on top of that mountain. Stay tuned. I have 3 sponsor messages before we get into today's show. First, if you have a great domain name and nothing to show when people visit, you're missing out on potential advertising revenue, leads, and partnership opportunities. NicheWebsites.com can build you a site quickly with a price option to suit any need. But as their tagline says, they don't just build websites, they build businesses. NicheWebsites.com. Second, if you're buying or selling a domain name or portfolio and you want an estimate of its value, Estabot.com is the place to go. Just like you'd visit Zillow.com to get an estimate of a house value, Estabot.com provides key information about the most important statistics so you can make an informed decision based on data. Finally, whether you're buying, selling, brokering, or financing a domain name, you need an escrow company that's properly licensed, bonded, insured, and audited. That company is escrow.com, and they've been doing it since 1999. Escrow.com. It's about trust. Hey everyone, I'm Michael Cyger, publisher of DomainSherpa.com, and this is the Domain Sherpa Review. This is the show where we get into the minds of successful domain name investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics. We have 4 segments on the review. We're going to start off learning what the Sherpas recently bought or sold. Next, we'll discuss and value an investor-submitted domain name portfolio. Then we'll preview some domains going to auction soon at namejet.com, and we'll find out what the Sherpas like and don't like. And we'll wrap up with the Name That Price game and maybe a reader question or two. Joining us today on the Domain Sherpa Review are 3 past Sherpas and thought leaders. In order from left to right, we have Adam Dicker, CEO of dnforum.com and nichewebsites.com, the company that will help you build, rank, and update your business website. Filling in for Andrew Rosener today is Frank Schilling, internet investor, entrepreneur, and founder of the domainnamesales.com platform and the registry and registrar, uniregistry.com. And Shane Kultra, publisher of the blog DomainShane.com and owner of the Country Arbors Nursery in Illinois. Sherpas, welcome to today's show.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike.
Thanks for having us.
Good to have you. Hey, Shane, I read on DomainShane.com yesterday that you were soliciting strange and unusual questions to ask Frank on the air.
Yeah, I thought we would have more, but I was soliciting to see. Actually, I wanted to ask the same questions, but I'm always curious about domains. We know, but just other things in life.
I will answer
what
anything
makes
at
you
all.
tick?
Anything at all. Well, in that case, I have questions as well. And you know what? We're going to save them for the end because that's the kind of host I am. I'm going to make everybody watch the whole show. Do not fast forward. Don't do it.
As an advertiser, I appreciate this philosophy.
It's called
Be
milk
sure to
in
watch
back
the center of
door.
commercials. They're the best. All right, we're going to start off the segment with a segment called What's New Sherpas, where the Sherpas get to share one purchase or sale that they've made over the past few weeks. We, as investors, get to learn what they paid or received, why they thought it was a good deal, how the negotiation progressed. Don't worry, Sherpas, I'm going to lead you through the questions, and the other Sherpas are going to get to comment as well. Adam, let's start with you. What's one domain name you've bought or sold in the past couple of weeks? Tell us the domain and not the price yet.
So do you want one bought and what sold, or you just want one of either? Just
Give me your favorite. Just one.
All right, let's go with exhibit.ca.
Exhibit.ca. All right. So, Frank, at this point, I ask you and Shane what you think Adam sold it for. Did you buy it or sell it?
Sold it.
So I'm going to ask you, before we actually get the data, what you think Adam sold exhibit.ca. Given that you're Canadian, Frank, I'm sure you're going to nail this one.
I think he got it at registration price because he's Canadian. He probably bought it on the TBR, to be released, CIRA, the registry up there, expiration list. So I think he paid registration price or whatever his expiring registration provider let it go for. And I think that he sold it in U.S. dollars, even though it's a Canadian name and he's in Canada and all that. And the buyer's probably Canadian. They still probably settled the price in U.S. dollars. I think 18,000 feels about right.
18K. Shane, what do you think he sold it
18
for?
or better. I don't think it'd be below 18.
Yeah. Hey, Shane, what do you think he sold it for?
Well, I agree. I think he got it for reg, but I know Adam, so he doesn't sell anything less. I'm going to say 3,500. He holds his numbers tight. He likes to keep them up there.
3,500. So Frank said 18K, but you're going to go with 3,500.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Adam, did you buy it for reg fee or did you buy it in the aftermarket?
No, I would have bought it, like Frank said, in the aftermarket at one of the drop places for about $60.
Okay. And what did you sell it for?
Frank's a little bit closer. It was $26,500.
U.S., right?
Yeah, U.S.
$26,500.
And for our listeners, that's about 34 now, Canadian? 34,000 Canadian?
What the lesson in it is that people don't really like dashes because they had a domain name with a dash and now they don't.
Got it.
Did they approach you out of the blue and ask to purchase a domain name?
It's outbound marketing again.
Outbound marketing.
I always say if you don't do your outbound marketing, you leave a lot of money on the table.
What was your original asking price when your team... Did you personally negotiate this one, or did the team do the outbound marketing and negotiate?
I negotiated this one.
And what was your original asking price?
Honestly, I don't even remember because it was one of those things where they got back to me a few times over a period of a few months. And anyway, their original name was exhibit-solutions.com or .ca. No, I think it was .com. So they switched to exhibit.ca. And part of the sales perspective was I was working with a girl that asked me for how she can justify it to her boss. And I said, well, go get a price on exhibit.com and see what that looks like compared to what you're going to pay for exhibit.ca. And then I also asked them, I said, where are your customers? She said, right now they're strictly in Canada. I said, well, there you go.
Yeah. Nice.
Canadian nationalism. People know they're going to deal with a Canadian vendor. There's not going to be shipping issues across the border.
Frank, for a free plug, we set up a new unit registry account and I pushed it there.
Wow, I love it. I love it.
Nice.
Actually, I love it for the user. That name is now more valuable, in my view. I mean, I think so. I think that's excellent.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that sale, Adam. Exhibit.ca.
The only other thing I want to talk about quickly before we go on is I did buy a bunch of the .football names.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow. Good for you.
All right.
And I got some really good ones while avoiding possible trademark landmines.
Nice.
That's a challenge. That's excellent. Excellent work, buddy.
All right. We'll talk about some football later in the show. Frank, what's one domain name that you've bought or sold in the past couple of weeks?
So I can only remember one of the ones I emailed you, but the other one I remember is Pro Flowers.
Pro.flowers.
Yeah.
And so that one was a registry reserved. You guys were holding that and selling it as a premium?
It was a North Sound Names asset, definitely.
Okay. And then how did that... so hold on. Adam, what do you think Frank sold Pro.flowers for?
It was Pro.flowers, huh?
Pro.flowers.
The thing is, it's a lot easier when we know how Frank likes to sell and Shane and I like to sell. So I'm going to say he's not getting out of bed for selling that less than 17.
He's not going to get out of bed for less than 17?
I'll get out of bed for a lot less than that. You know, but it depends how many times I got to get out of bed.
We're going to ask you about that later in the show. Shane, what do you think?
He may get into bed for 17, but he won't get out.
Shane, what do you think Frank sold Pro.flowers for?
I think his bed's bigger than that. I think it's 20,000.
20,000. Speaking of which, I just met the inventor of the water bed. Like, I don't know if you guys think that's
No
cool,
way.
but I think that's
That's
pretty
the
cool.
oldest line in the bar, Mike.
He lives here on Bainbridge Island. Like, that's
Those are
so
passe
cool.
now, Michael. They're kind of passe.
I've used that one a million times. Hey, baby, you know I'm the inventor of the waterbed.
And
All right, Frank. We've got 17,000 and 20,000 US dollars that you sold Pro.flowers for. What was the actual sales price?
Right, before I say it, I just want to let everybody know I get out of bed 20 times for $1,000. Just full disclosure.
Good for
Full disclosure.
you.
Right now, right here in front of us all.
but that's for a combined 20,000. That's why.
I'm proud to say and it's not me, it's the platform. It was a lot of follow-ups, and the brokers, the sales platform, we got 50,000.
$50,000.
Yeah.
You're saying $50,000. So all the people, last last week was new GTLD week on DomainSherpa. We reviewed a new GTLD portfolio here on the review. I hosted DN Seattle over in Right Side headquarters. We had a panel. We discussed new GTLD selling. We still had people posting comments saying, that's BS. You guys aren't selling these domains for $20,000, $100,000. Frank Schilling.
I'd love to say, oh no, it's our payment plan and we'll pay off in 2,100 or something, 2,100. But no, the truth is, attitude is altitude when you sell domain names. And it's always been that way, whether you're selling lowly.com. The person with the broker with the silky voice and the confidence to tell the truth, which is the name's worth it. That you can't lie. It is worth it. If you're running a great business, it's just the name has resonance and meaning and gravity. It's names like that are very rare.
Now, when you set a price, do you just set it and say it's $50,000? That's what we're going to sell it for, or did you actually start with your team at a higher amount and negotiate down to $50,000?
It's both. We have an internal philosophy here called PON, which is the power of no. So sometimes we'll price a name and we'll say maybe we went too low. PON, power of no. We're just going to kick it down the road. The price is that, and it's more likely to go up than it is to go down. Which is the truth. We're more likely to raise this price, Mr. Buyer, to 75 than you get it for 49. Mm-hmm. And it takes you got to have the ability to give somebody that steely glaze over the phone and do it politely and let them know that you mean it. And then they can. It's kind of like deal or no deal. What am I going to do? And then other times, we'll start out a little higher and then discount to a price that makes the buyer feel like they won the day and got a discount. And but we all know it when we feel it. Like, these names you got to remember, like names that seemingly have no value to an outsider. If you look at the AMR and ADT that I discussed previously, which is average monthly revenue on PPC and average daily traffic, you can see that there's a DIN level and these names slot into their bands. If the name gets 15 uniques a day just from drive-by traffic and there's some PPC revenue, like, wow, I could do something with this. And there's, as if the names, doesn't seem like it's ever going to be visited by anyone. You might let it go lower, and it depends on the market and the PPC value of the traffic in that market. There's a lot of little variables that you learn over time as you work in this business.
But I would assume that Pro.Flowers doesn't have any type-in traffic and doesn't make any AMR. We
have names in, and we know customers who have names that have real AMR and ADT. But it's very scarce. It's few and far between at this point. But it'll change over time. As these guys put up a new site, I put it on a billboard, and people will automatically start guessing these over time. It's still very early, in the days of all this. You got to have these flipper deals that happen in year one are kind of like trying to flip .coms back in '94. Right. There was a lot of available stuff in '94, but there were guys selling like news.com to CNET for $5,000. And I remember hearing stories from Halsey Minor of CNET saying, these guys positively thought they were having their way with me. And I was buying these names for $5,000, news.com, kids.com.
And everybody thought they were crazy at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you do that? You can go out and get an available name. Go get Cool Kids. It's just sitting there, Right. And why the .com? The .net is better. The same argument over again.
Yeah. So I just did a Who Has lookup, and it looks like the teeny company that you just sold Pro.Flowers to was FTD.
Oh wow! Okay, see, I didn't even know that. Look at that. So, that's goes to show you. I'm looking. We're already on to the next thing, and we're not looking in the rearview mirror. Sterling Moss, the race car driver, used to say Sterling Moss, the race car driver, didn't have a rearview mirror in his race car, and they said, his philosophy was if it's in the if it's behind me, it doesn't matter. So I kind of like feel the same way, but sometimes I'm like Sterling Moss.
All right. Congratulations, Frank Schilling. Shane, what's one domain name that you've bought or sold in the past couple of weeks?
Well, I just bought mm.com today. No, I'm just kidding.
Up, you big liar.
that was in the news today. I got two. I got one favorite and then one that I bought seriously. The first one this is in Andrew's name, so you're going to have to bleep it out, but I bought fucking dumbass.com. Because it's the most ultimate email.
Dude, now you're going to make me do more work to bleep that out. I got I got hate mail when Andrew was dropping the F-bomb
I
left and
figured
right
that.
last
So
show.
you can bleep that out, and the censors can do that.
All right, don't talk about that one anymore.
But the real one is
I'll pretend like it didn't happen.
I'm in the character, so I bought 70a.com.
78. Okay.
70a.com.
All right, 70a.com. Frank Schilling, what do you think Shane paid for 70a.com?
So please don't consider this insulting, but I'm going to presume your style is more of prudent investor and you try to come in low. I think you bought it in the hundreds, 70A. You tried to find somebody who was a weak holder, didn't know what he had. You emailed him methodically over time. I could give you, I could give you $700 for it or something, or $300, something like that. And that's why I think you paid for it.
All right, Adam, what do you think Shane paid for 70a.com?
2,200.
2,200. All right, and we know that these two numbers plus letters are increasing in value. Shane, what'd you pay for it?
Yeah, I paid 2,800, so I paid a little higher. Yeah.
And why did you think that was a good deal?
Well, to be honest with you, I had some thoughts with Adam's talk the other day. So I know that the Chinese market is looking for investments, and I've been packaging together. I bought 50x.com and s70.com, Z95. So I'm putting this package together, and I feel once I've gathered it, I don't know when this is going to air, but I'm buying 70x.com. And I'm putting all these together, and I'm going to present it as an investment package that I think a market will buy, because there's a lot of work putting these all together.
It is.
Yep.
And it's a short 3-character round number, solid I think the best of the 3 characters. And when I put them all together, I'll wait for the right price because I feel they're still going up. And I'm going to save somebody some time and who has a little extra money and just wants to buy a package. And I honestly got the idea from Adam, because it takes a lot of time to acquire these. If you can buy a big group, there's money to be made through your
Just last month, the domain name sales sold 182 3-letter.com names from one of our customers' portfolio in bulk, and it was somewhere between 6 and 10 million for that bulk sale. So I mean, that shows you, people will do those deals because it's easier to do those deals. Personally, I feel like I've felt for a while the 3 letters are getting kind of heady, but market keeps going up. I've been wrong. Broken clock is right twice a day. Right? So,
what? You've been wrong in the past, Frank?
I've been wrong, man.
Hey, Drew made a comment on the last show when we were talking about Adam's portfolio where he liquidated some 4 letters, I believe, right, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
Through DN Forum. And Drew had made a comment that, I think I had said that if you get a package of domains, it should be a little bit lower than the individual prices because they're selling them all at once and you don't have to wait for each of those to have a buyer over, 10 years, let's say. Drew was saying, well, these are hard to come by, and being able to buy a large portfolio like this should have a higher premium. What do you think, Frank?
I think I'm side with the getting a group of them is really hard. And, there may be 1 or 2 outliers in that mix that might have been worth, more than the average, significantly more. And then there are some others in there that are worth, below the average. But the average is the average. And you're able to, pull them all down in one fell swoop. I think in this case, both the buyer and the seller, I want to say won clearly because they reached a clearing price. As an investor, speculator who's looking to, get, sort of a 10x return in relatively short order, it's a little rich for my blood. Mm-hmm. But there are different people who play in different niches and they don't want to carry, hundreds of thousands of names in inventory. And it's just a different model, and so for them, I think it's, it's a prudent decision. But,
so premium or discounted when you're buying a bulk like 182 3Ls?
It depends what's in it. In those 3L.coms, if they're all clean and they're, then definitely premium because they're all together,
Yeah.
And I'd say premium.
All right. And Shane, you're trying to go for that premium route. You're saying I'm doing all the work. I'm pulling them together. You can buy them all in one fell swoop.
Yeah, it worked for me in the past. When I buy, I tend, I was the preacher of 4number.coms 5 and 6 years ago, and I was putting packages together, and I've done it with several other things. And this is my latest. These, I think, in my opinion, were undervalued. It's changing drastically over the last couple months. I mean, names that were 2,000 are now 4,000. Even Cito, who tended to be not as watched in the past, is coming back. So now I can't even sneak in there and get them. So, yeah, that's,
so how many
that's my
domains are you
plan.
looking to put? How many domains are you looking to put in this package, Shane?
Well, as they come up, but I'll keep adding. But probably $30,000 worth is what I'm looking to do.
All right, so people are going to reach out if they have 2-letter plus a number.coms. You want them to reach out?
They've got to be round. I'm not looking for. It's got to be a certain type. I'll get a million emails of different kinds.
You are going to.
Certain style I'm looking for that I think appeals to the Chinese market.
Yeah.
So you don't want 6, 8. L.
No. V.
You want round like 70, 60, 50.
X 88. Is a perfect one. 50X, 70X, 33X. All those names are kind that I personally like, and I think others will. But again, I'm putting my money into it, and I'll be the one to reward. So I'll be pass or fail.
And how are you going to sell it when you amass this portfolio?
You're going to use domain name sales.
He's frozen.
I'm back.
Hey, Shane.
Drew, I mean, I have enough name that if I put it out that it's out there, but Drew is a very big help. Drew's good at those packages. The brokers like those kind of packages. Yeah. Anytime they have the Chinese market, they reach out.
All right. Thanks, Sherpas. We're going to move on to the next segment of the show. In the Domain Portfolio Review, we take user-submitted domain name portfolios and provide honest and constructive feedback to the owners so they can either cut their losses, continue to hold the domain names, or figure out a different sales strategy going forward. Today's portfolio was submitted by Linda Mondu. As part of Linda's submission, she made a generous donation to the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center to help us all find a cure for cancer. Thanks for that, Linda. Linda's list of 25 domain names starts with billionero.com and ends with zoomerama.com. We're going to go Frank, then Shane, then Adam this round. Frank, let's start with you. When you look at Linda's list of domains here, and this is not her entire portfolio, it's just 25 that she wanted to submit, what's the first thing that comes to your mind about her investing strategy?
Well, she's definitely a brandable girl. She's not after search terms and compound search phrases of correct spelled, correct, meaningful in everyday life things. She's putting words together and she's making up brandable 2-word compound phrases that somebody might brand. It's a clever strategy because you can get a premium for those. One of these might sell for 20 or 30 grand if she's lucky. Looking at the list, there's definitely there are a few outliers in here that I think could be interesting, but Poker Belly just kind of for some reason sticks out to me. Wind Traffic, solid. It's the third from the bottom. Those are the two best. Maybe Drone Slam is kind of cool, but not an incredibly strong list. But as I've said many times before, you need to register these names. You need to do this because for a couple of reasons. One, it gives you I bought a bunch of names like this that were probably 10x worse than these ones, and then I realized I thought they were the best thing ever. And those names, but I had convinced myself they were the best thing ever. And had people told me, Frank, these are just total, you're never going to make your money back. You've lost all this money. And I would have given up. But the fact that I was so enthusiastic about it gave me the courage to go on to the next thing, which was actually the right thing. And then you have a sale out of the right thing. And that, oh my God, so you need that sort of that impetus. So you can always moving forward. You can't stop. So
Frank, let me ask you. You mentioned pokerbelly.com, windtraffic.com, droneslam.com. Are those 3 domain names that you would register today if they were available for reg fee?
Wind Traffic, I would. Tipping 101, I just saw that one. That's not bad. And there's another one. No, that's a .NET, the Goldware one. Yeah. It's not bad. It's just, it's definitely not the strongest list.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go through and talk about each one, or do you?
No, I'm just looking for your top. That sort of gives us a feel for the domain list.
Yeah, Billionero at the top of the list. Is it ARIO? You know what I mean, or is it AIRO? That there's going to be that typographical issue there. Bot Belly. That's kind of cute, a little brandable, actually. So there's a couple little gems in here that could be sold for a premium. I don't think she's She's got the worst instincts. I've
Okay.
seen far, far worse.
And if she takes the domains that you're suggesting that are the best and maybe looks at the other ones, maybe she doesn't renew them, maybe she puts that money into something else, where should she list these for sale?
Well, you know what? I don't want to unfairly plug our platform versus all the others. Within the next few months, at long last, our domain name sales market will be migrated inside Uniregistry. So these names will, you'll be able to finance these, for example, or do quick transfers and, using our stuff. So
That was not me. My hands are up. All right. So she can list them on domain name sales or uniregistry.com soon. And you would said
Uniregistry
get it
for
onto that platform.
registrations. Uniregistry for registrations, domain name sales for the ability to sell them. Soon that'll come together and be easier for her to use, more elegant. But she can also use Sato. She can use Afternic. There are other platforms out there to clear these sales.
All right, Shane, let's go over to you. Give me two domains that you love on Linda's list and 2 domains that you would definitely drop.
Okay, the word love is a strong word that I say for only the special people. So I'll give 2 domains that I think that she should not drop.
Okay.
How about that?
That sounds good.
I thought Pot Buying Guide was a nice one that could be built out, and Drew can help them with that. So,
I didn't even see that one. There you go.
Yeah. So Pot Buying Guide was probably my favorite on the
list. Do not drop potbuyingguide.com.
And then Tipping 101 was probably my other one. I think it could be built out. A tipping calculator. I think those are the 2 build out possibilities. I don't see these selling. Frank's exactly right. Can I tell you that she's not going to make any money on this? No, but as a mathematician, I can look at them and probably figure out that this isn't your best way to make money. So those are the 2. The ones that I would definitely throw out. I did like Stephen Harper Sucks, though. All you can eat.
I didn't see that.
I don't even know who that is. Who is Stephen Harper?
Isn't he Prime Minister?
Yeah, he's the Prime Minister of Canada.
Oh,
you're closer than I am to Canada.
I know. I'm almost a
like 2 hours, an hour.
Yeah. And then dropping, you could pick 2 of them, and I'd probably feel comfortable if you dropped any of the other ones.
Yeah. I think store to drop. I think reviews, plurals is bad.
Hey, Frank, it's not your turn.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Now he's realizing he can be a little harsh.
We go in order here, Frank.
All right, thanks, Shane. Adam, let's go over to you.
All right, I don't know what's going on with both these guys. And Frank, there's no way this list gets approved for a domain name sales account. No way.
You know what? It will, because in the future, we had to curate it because of the traffic piece, but now it'll be automatic, everything approved on
in the future. So if she watches this show on Monday, she can't go to domain name sales and sign up with this list because you want traffic. But a few months from now, when domainnamesales.com is integrated with Uniregistry, she would be able to list these for sale. Okay.
Yes.
At the point that they don't care about destroying my channel of revenue or somebody else's,
that's actually a really important delineation. People wonder, why is that? Why are you being so critical? Well, what it is that Adam has really good names and they're parked there. So as you bring worse names and they maybe attract the wrong kind of traffic, while we have channel identifiers for different partners, there's a risk that the overall quality of the channel traffic degrades as we bring lousier quality traffic on. Not as much keyword, not as much, more prone to abuse, which could be some of these names. And then it will drag down revenue for guys like Adam and others on our platform who have good names. And that's why that's so.
All right. Still not your turn, but good point. Anyway, so back to me. Names I would drop, as Drew would say, and you're not being as harsh as Drew is, Frank. Drew usually would say things to kids like, oh, when the music's on the ice cream truck, that means they're out of ice cream. Anyway, so there's so many here. I don't know. It's very hard for me. First of all, Stephen Harper sucks. I do like Stephen Harper.
You would keep that one, right?
No, I would. Well, I don't know if I'd keep. No, I wouldn't keep it. I wouldn't want to own it.
You wouldn't want to own it.
No, that's like owning anything. I wouldn't know. There's a few I want. Anyway, Bot Belly drop, Drone Doggy drop, Poker Belly drop, Poker Pips. I don't know what any of this crap is. Drop it. The whole portfolio, even on Estabot, is appraised at $960, and that's overly generous. Win traffic, like Frank said, not bad. I like Trend Den only because it makes sense. It's something that could be brandable. Tipping 101 is an information site. You're not going to make any money with it.
What makes sense about that?
It's a good
place to set up a site to bring in RSS feeds for all kinds of things that are trending, like computers, medicine, whatever you want. I do something. I mean, it's got the whole list is horrible. And I looked at Linda's portfolio, the whole list that she had, and this is why I mean, the whole list doesn't get any better. There's like 300 names on here, and the only thing I can 166. The only thing I can say is this is why we recommend that you guys get portfolio reviews before you spend a whole bunch of money. Get to somebody that knows what they're talking about, or just get some advice of people. A lot of these words, they don't make sense in the order they're in, or they're just, like Frank said, two words together that don't make sense. Like, I don't know what a drone doggy is. I mean, yes, doggy and drone are words. I don't know what horlorge is. Those aren't words. I don't know what. There's a lot of stuff that's weird here. Like billionaire, a million arrows available. Why didn't you grab that one? Because people become millionaires before billionaires.
Well, so let me ask you. I know what a drone slam is. Hey, that sounds like something I would watch on cable. It's a drone competition, battle of the drones. They slam into each other, and the last one to remain in the air wins. Like, I would watch that because those drones piss me off.
No advertisers, no search traffic, and zero appraised value. So I think you can buy that offer. If you want to make an offer, go ahead now.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it. But, like, is that one that she might keep?
To me, there's nothing on here she might keep, except maybe Tipping 101 and Trend N. The only thing she should keep at this point is some knowledge to understand what she's done wrong and learn from it going forward.
You know, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if I take off my GTLD operator hat and I put on my domainer hat.
Quick break from 3 sponsors of today's show. First, are you tired of being upsold and cross-sold when you buy or renew a domain? Then try the newest registrar being built from the ground up with a beautiful interface, competitive pricing, and 24/7 support. Uniregistry.com will surprise and delight you. The right domain can change your life. Uniregistry.com. Need a broker who's eager to do whatever is required to sell your domain names regardless of price? Then you need to contact Horton Richards. They specialize in exact match, keyword-rich, geo, and new GTLD domain names, and they sell more than 1,000 a month. Visit HortonRichards.com and tell them the domain you want to sell today. Finally, if you're buying a domain name from a private party and want to know what else they own, DomainIQ.com is the tool you should be using. View their entire portfolio, filter by Esterbot value, and be a better investor. $49.95 for 250 queries per month. Visit DomainIQ.com/portfolio to learn more.
You know, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if I take off my GTLD operator hat and I put on my domainer hat, why wouldn't you go and just buy, you know, some $5 .link or .club, or, you know, there's available stuff that's 100 bajillion times better than this. You can buy for
but
like
you're not
$3
talking
and
about
$5.
Moxamax.link. You're talking about real single keywords.link,
Yes,
and you're saying
yes,
that those have more value than
for $5 or
PokerBelly.com.
$3, and you're paying less per registration. Like,
here's the yardstick that I like to use, and I think Frank uses it and Shane uses it too. If you can't figure out why a business would want that domain name, it probably doesn't have any use to anybody else besides you. I mean, I don't see anything here that could be used for a business, except maybe gold dividend if you're pushing something, and maybe but I don't see anything that I would pick for a business except maybe, like I said, Trend N or maybe Pot Buying Guide. Or
more to Adam's point, it's harder to talk yourself into a justifiable reason to use these or sell these than it would on something else .new that like is like an obvious keyword. I can pick up the phone and cold call 10 people and get it sold in an afternoon, right? Whereas this is like pushing the rock uphill.
Yeah. All right, so let me ask you guys. Here's a question from Linda, who couldn't join us today. She wrote, for ithingsreviews.com and ithingsstore.com, should I wait until the Internet of Things is a bigger phenomenon, or try selling one or two of these domains now at whatever floor price she can get? So she saw something that's growing. Everybody's talking about the Internet of Things. I don't know really what the heck it is. Like, I understand everything's connected, but I'm not sure why Internet of Things is suddenly such the buzz phrase. But she's grabbed a hold of that, like you do a lot, Adam, and said iThings for Internet of Things. And now she's saying reviews and store. What do you guys think?
Part of the problem that I see is when I first looked at those things, the first thing I didn't think of Internet of Things. The first thing I thought of was like iPhone, iWatch, iThis, and I thought she could have some problems if she's going to do it strictly with Apple products. So I I think it may be too risky to play on those names.
I didn't make the connection to Internet of Things either until she asked the question.
Yeah.
I think that's why she asked the question, to make it obvious to us all. But the fact that you have to make it obvious to us all, means that that name doesn't naturally identify itself with the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is the idea that, all our cars are going to have like computers in them, and so they're going to talk to one another and tell you when they're out of gas and fill me up, or to drive themselves to the gas pump to fill up. And the idea is that somehow with naming, you don't really need names for that, for the two to talk to one another. You need names for the people to talk to identify the car, like frankschillings.car or 1748.car or whatever, or car.com or .bmw if you drive a BMW or whatever. And it somehow but it's kind of like, this reminds me very much of back when I had my WAP names, WAP, and I had like 50 WAP this, WAP that. We're all going to be using this WAP standard for telephony, and now all my WAP names are worth a lot more as a result. And that's a perfect example. I actually thought I had struck the freaking gold mine with my WAP names, but had I given up, because I'd bought all these WAP names, and I bought like probably more than I should have, more than I could afford at the time, certainly. Had I given up because I had these, I wouldn't have gone on to get the good names. And I'd probably be doing something completely different. So you got to go through this gauntlet, you know what I mean, to be successful. Anyway.
Well, as long as you learn from it, it's worthwhile.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
And I got 2 points to make on that. One, even Apple's not using iNames anymore. They've abandoned I. Everything's just this and that. They've dropped the I. And two, from the test of time and throughout time, things are called a brand. That will always be something. This will be called Sparky, the Internet of Things house. There will always be a name for something, and those will always have value. It doesn't, Red Rooster to me, Blue Rooster, Green Rooster. Yeah, they're.
We lost you there.
Shane, you still there?
I'm getting a Chrome. Forget this. Squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel.
Don't blame your Apple computer. Mine's working just fine.
Driving me crazy. And hell, I got like gig internet and I still can't get it. But anyway, so my point being, I think brands will, I think that always will have some value throughout time. Yeah, you can be specific in Internet of Things, but those names seem to always have value to the next company coming around.
Yeah. All right. Here's last question from Linda. She said, I have several non-dictionary names that I feel are brandable. Just like Frank said, Billionaro, Zoomerama.com, Pokerbelly.com. Will these be a harder sell, and how much are they worth? Linda wants to know. Frank, how much are they worth?
You got to wait for the offer to come to you. It's going to be harder to do an outreach sell on those to get the number that you're going to want.
Yep.
On brandables like these, I typically, all the money's made in the ask. You got to ask high. Don't ask, don't get. 20,000, 30,000, and see what happens. And you got to have a thick skin as people tell you you're crazy or I won't do it. You got. When can I check back with you?
Yeah.
So,
Adam, what do you say? What are they worth?
Well, I mean, they're not worth that much, and what I would strongly say is don't bother renewing any of them, because these things are going to be really hard to sell, and you're not going to sell any of them. There's a reason you've probably had these names a while, and nobody's contacted you.
I would only add that if you feel confident that you can get out of them, a renewal doesn't cost that much at Uniregistry. You can just pay your low-cost renewal and carry that for a few more. The ones you feel passionate about, carry them for a few more years, and you never know what'll happen.
But it does. It's $1,000 a year to keep playing the game. So
well, you got to choose wisely. I think if you pick 10 of these, it's only $80 a year, and maybe you'll sell one of these for like $1,000 if you're really desperate. And then
as a registrar, Frank's job is to tell you to renew them. As a domainer, his job is to tell you to drop them.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll straight up here. I mean, a business, if she gives up all her names, right? And she's obviously thinks these are the best ones. She's passionate about them, which is part of the battle of selling names, right? So she thinks these are the best ones because she's having us review them, right? So if she gives these up, there's probably a few gems in here she could probably talk somebody into. We've all agreed that there are a couple here. If she feels passionate, if she's making the pitch, then she might sell one of these for $1,000, $2,000, and then move on to the next thing. Keep moving, right?
Right.
So nothing begets nothing. If you just throw the white flag and give up, she'll be back doing whatever she was doing before.
Yeah, and I've got brandables. I could argue that they're better. You might say that they're worse than the ones on Linda's list. They're coming up for renewal. I actually pinged a couple people on my Skype list and said, I'm dropping these when they come up for renewal. Do you want any of them? And nobody took any of them. I was going to push them for free. So we're all in that boat. We all have domain names that are like this. Shane, I generally say any brandable domain name, a good brandable is worth, like Poker Belly. I don't know, maybe poker players get a belly, are worth at least $2,500. You got to ask if you want to get it. Would you agree that on any domain name that you make up that you register for, $10, $8 is worth at least $2,500 retail?
Yeah, I think that Adam and I discuss that all the time. Yeah, that's kind of where we start. It's not worth our time for less. Now, if it's not, again, on a day that you're looking at something in a store that you wouldn't have bought, and someone offers you $1,500, and you say, all right, I'm gonna buy that because that changes everything. But yeah, but again, we could all talk about this all day. Some of those, that's true, but I think there's a certain kind that we found over time that are worth holding on to and playing that game.
They're not the best. These aren't
the ones that I think that's.
Here's the thing. Most of the domains I just checked are registered in 2015. So she's new to the game.
Yep.
The one thing I would advise her, she's got the one I just checked, Tipping 101 is under Who Is Privacy. Get those out of Who Is Privacy. So you
totally agree. Totally agree.
Because if you want to sell them, you want people to be able to find your contact information.
Yeah. There's a few Who Is Privacy services that actually forward the email behind the curtain. We do it at Uniregistry, and when you put on
name.com, so who knows?
Does name.com do it? I don't know. But like a lot of them just black hole it. So you send
there's no reason to keep names under privacy unless it's a business you want to keep and you don't want to take crazy offers on it because you want to keep it forever.
Yeah.
There's no reason to hide behind privacy anymore.
Great tip, Adam. All right, Linda, we hope this review has been useful to you in your investing activities. Thanks again for making a donation to help find a cure for cancer. We're going to move on to the marketplace list. This segment is sponsored by NameJet. We're reviewing 12 names heading to auction soon. For transparency, I always ask if any of the domains below are owned or brokered by the Sherpas. Guys, are any of these your domains? Nope. Shane? Nope. Okay. Nope. If you like one of the names below, click through soon, because once they go to auction, you lose your chance to put in a minimum bid and be a part of the auction, or even just watch the results. The links below go directly to NameJet. They're not commissionable links. They're just trackable so they can see what kind of traffic DomainSherpa is sending over to NameJet. The list starts with personfinder.com, and it ends with a numeric domain, 187787.com. Shane, let's start with you this round. What do you like on the NameJet list and why?
All right, I'm going to start with, in my family, a lot. Broken phones. We have repaired, I think, half of the iPhones in the world at my house. We break them. I know they make cases, but we don't seem to use them very often. So the broken phones, to me, is a good, valuable. Seems to be a store on every corner that fixes screens, and it'd be a fantastic marketing name for somebody down the road.
What do you think that one's going to sell for?
Well, I think it'll probably go for $7,500, $8,000 on. I think somebody will come in and see that same thing. Of course, by us talking about it, we add another couple thousand to the value.
Of course we do. But what kind of retail? If you bought it for, let's say, $8,000 and you felt great about it, what kind of retail value do you think you can get on that if you were to sell it?
I think if you use Frank's sullen voice and a deep sexy call, I think that the number is endless. No, I do think. I don't see any reason why somebody wouldn't pay $40,000 or $50,000. It's millions of dollars of people fixing phones, sending them in. So I think that's.
Right, you like that one. What else do you like on the list?
The other one I liked was I think the other one I thought yard sheds was. We're in the Midwest. I take that back. We call them sheds and yard barns. Take that back. I had DNTV as the other one, but that's more our industry.
Yep.
I think it would make a great channel name, and people within our industry tend to buck up for names that could be used within it. So that was my other one that I liked a lot.
Yeah. All right.
And what will it sell for? I'll say it's a 2letter.tv, which I'm not familiar what 2 letters are selling for, but again, I'll say in the 6,000 or 7,000 range would still go.
All right. Cool. Thanks, Shane. Frank, what are your favorite couple domains on the NameJet list and why?
I'm just looking at it over here. I like, Person Finder. That used to be great. Now that's Google. So so Google's replaced some of that. I don't really care for engineering school because it's long, and schools are typically a little, they're kind of brand centric and want to get their name out. They're not just the generic. Yard sheds, I agree, doesn't sound like something that people call it really. It seems more forced or contrived. I don't like broken phones as much just because it's a plural. Broken phone maybe, but at the same time, I like phone repair or phone repairs with the plural better than I like broken phone, because repair seems more positive than, like it's almost like I'm going to go to the site to break my phone. It doesn't seem like what I type, but I haven't repaired any phones. Unlike Shane, I know there's a vibrant business out there of people who do that, and we haven't done it. We're typically take it back to the Apple Store and replace. So, and DNTV, I don't think that's bad. Top coverage, I'm not crazy about. None of these I'm really not crazy, except Tricked Out Cars I like. And I like that combo up at the top, the OA Co-UK and OA UK together. If you can get them both for like a couple of $1,000 it's worth carrying, you might flip them together for 10 or 20 to a British business. But you got to, be able to outlay the 2K. But I think that'd be a 2K, be money in the bank for the pair up top. I don't know if you get them
2K total for both of them.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a nice buy if you could do that. If people were sleeping that day, and right now with a lot of the new GTLDs, the Co-UKs are out of love. If we can get both somehow, it'd be nice to snag them together. Doubtful it'll happen, but Indie Weekly, I don't know how big the word weekly is in Indianapolis and in the Midwest. No nonsense XYZ, no sense. No nonsense. Whoops.
Nonsense.xyz.
Hell to get old, boys. I'm not close enough to the monitor. Nonsense.xyz. With deference to my dear friend Daniel Nagari, I don't care for it. And Solar Swimming Pool, I don't like. It's too long, and I don't like the number one at the bottom.
Hey, so Frank, let me ask you. Personfinder.com has an estimate value of $67,000. It's
that's out of date.
You don't think that's a valid price nowadays?
No, and I think in spite of the fact that it sounds right, feels right, people are still going to hunt for it. It doesn't naturally, once they've heard it, it makes sense, but it's not the natural thing people would leap to. They call it People Finder. Yeah. It's just, you know what I mean? Even this is one of those funny instances where being right next door to the traffic, the big party, isn't as good as being at the party, Yeah. And so I like the OA one because it's a 2-letter, and a lot of companies in the UK have a big, want to tout their brand.
Now, I know Shane bids on NameJet a lot. I believe you bid on NameJet a lot too. Is that correct, Frank?
I do. I don't do it myself. We have a robot and people who do all that just to replace our inventory that we do sell. But yeah.
Are you going to go for OA combination yourself?
No, I'm not. It's not good enough. Not good enough for me. I've got a lot of UKs. I got some single character UKs, some 2-character UKs. I'm just, that's kind of over for me right now. There's more opportunity. What I mean in some of the new stuff. All right.
Thanks, Frank. Adam, what do you think of the NameJet list? What do you agree with Frank and Shane about, and what do you disagree about?
So, I mean, I kind of like Yard Sheds. 13.5 million searches, listings for it. Decent name. It'll sell well. Engineering School. I do like it. Great for lead gen. $9.84 a click. Good advertisers. I agree with the OAs. Solar Swimming Pool, not keen on. Being in the reputation repair business, owning reputationrepair.com, People Finders is the big one. So Person Finder, they may have some issues going forward with that with People Finders because they're a huge, huge corporation. I don't know about that. We'll see. Nonsense.xyz, that pretty much describes my view on XYZ. Broken phones. At first glance, I agreed with Shane, but I think he needs to buy an OtterBox. If your phone breaks with an OtterBox, your OtterBox breaks, they send you a new one free.
Have you ever tried it though?
I haven't.
It's enormous. It's like you can't even fit it in your pocket when you got that thing on there.
So you get a little side clip, makes you feel like old.
My wife made fun of me when I used to wear it on my belt. I can't do it.
I think the 6 Plus with the OtterBox is like bigger than an iPad Mini.
That's what this is.
Pretty soon you'll have the full iPad in a holster on your hip anyway. So broken phones, I'm a little bit with Frank on this one. At first, I understand that people Google broken phones, but broken phones to me sounds like it's somewhere where you go to buy a broken phone, which may not be a bad business either because people are buying them and selling them for parts. So that name's got a few different facets to it. I don't mind it, but I'm not sure what I would do with it. Tricked Out Cars, 1.4 million results in Googles for guys that love their crazy cars and all their little gadgets. It's probably a good name. DNTV, again, I put down that it's mostly a domainer name, but it's still a good 2-letter TV name. And then 187787, the only thing I was able to find out about that is it's a hexa color, and the square root of it is 433.343.
Ooh, it's a square rootable. Yeah, that's
That's our life.
increases the value. How many have an even square root?
It's not even though. There's some decimal points.
Oh,
But anyway,
okay. I get it.
I like some of them. I like the engineering school is not bad, and probably because I'm in rep repair, I like Person Finder because I know how much money you make on background checks and all that stuff. But
So which is better? Which is better, Adam? Engineeringschool.com or engineering.school?
Engineering. Right now I'd have to say engineering school, but I wouldn't turn down engineering.school either. They're both good names if you want to be known as the school for engineering.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely pick up both. I wouldn't if I owned engineering.school, which somebody does, I'd pick that up.
Yeah, I like it as the new GTLD better, but I'm too close to it. I think that's the way it's going. But maybe not.
At first, when I looked at these names, they looked a lot better than when I'm looking at the list now, and they don't look as good as I originally thought they were.
I didn't think they looked good when I looked at them. My first instinct was this list sucks too.
All right. That's the way it was submitted. What can I do? All right. That's it for the NameJet list. So you're not going to buy any on this list, Adam? You're not going to put in bids?
No, I don't think so.
DN.TV, I know you're going to go for it. You're going to put in a
Absolutely
minimum
not.
bid.
I have enough going on. I don't need a TV show.
What's the renewal rate on a two-letter TV like that now? Every time I look at those, and this shows you the problem with variable priced registries, is that when you put the meme out there early that, oh, it's a variable price renewal, I'm forever scarred that this is a variable price renewal name. This name's going to be like 3,000 year to renew.
And see, I just assumed that it was reg fee. Whatever I pay at Uniregistry for a .tv or GoDaddy for a .tv was going to be my price for renewal. I can't assume that?
Well, I don't think so. I that's the thing. I don't know. I'm in this business forever, and I don't know.
So we have
They're
to
always
email
sneaky rules.
NameJet and ask them.
Yeah, and so that's the bummer, right? You go out and you buy it. Let's say you pay $5,000, and you're like, I stretched, but I think it's worth $5,000. And then all of a sudden you get your bill next year for renewal. It's like, welcome, $3,500 a year. You're like,
Yeah, that
the whole
stinks.
idea.
That's my new website where you type in the name and it tells you how much it costs to renew it.
There you go. How
If
much
you don't own it.
Go ahead and type this in. How much is it? Do you have that website, Shane?
How much
No.
is it .com? I bet that's taken. Frank probably owns it.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. We should all do that. There we go. Let's put that in as a feature for Uniregistry.
How much is
That's
.it? I don't know. It's parked at internet traffic.
Are we going to talk about football at all? Or
Yeah, hold on. We're going to the lightning round. That's going to be part of the questions. You
All right,
want to
let me
play
get my
lightning
pick.
round or you want to do questions? Because Shane's the reigning champion.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, all right. We're going to move on to the next round. It is the lightning round. We're playing Name That Price. Here's how the game works, Frank. I name 3 domain names that sold within the past year. They all sold to end users. They did not sell through domain name sales. You have no advantage, Frank.
Thank you. Okay.
And we're going to look for the
Busy
retail.
talking anyway.
Hold on 1 second.
Got to grab a piece of paper. Shane's going to grab a piece of paper.
I just needed a pen, but I got one.
All right. And so I'm going to say the domain name, you write down the price, Frank, and then at the same time you hold them up so that Shane doesn't get to listen to your answer like in the first round. And then we get to see what kind of pricing chops he's got. Hold on. No,
Oh
you did
my God.
not.
Oh my God.
These are my medals from winning last week.
You won what? I won
Just
10
1
times
week.
in a row, and I got no medals.
That's okay. This is what Mike sent me.
You got one of those Hall of Fame plaques yet, Shane?
Bring it on.
You look like
I lose.
you look like the white Mr. T or a younger Bruce Jenner.
He
Or the
does
ghost
look like
of
Mr.
Christmas
T.
past.
All right,
so
Shane is the
fine.
king of the mountain. He
Fine.
deserves all those medals. He won last week's Sherpa Lightning Round, kicking Adam off, who had previously three-peated. All right, we're going to find out if Frank can pull it out. Here's the first domain name, gentlemen. It's a keyword domain name. The domain is vitaminc.com. Vitaminc.com. What do you think it's sold for? Write down your answer.
I think we sold that.
No, you did not.
Oh, then okay. We sold vitamin D, I think. Vitamin D. Okay, but anyway. Vitamin C.
Vitaminc.com. It's one of my favorite vitamins.
Mine too. Seriously.
Linus Pauling.
Yeah, I have no idea what that means.
Did-
Okay,
did-
I
did
think
you
everybody's ready, right?
discover, like the antibiotic thing?
Linus Pauling was the guy that figured out about vitamin C.
Oh, was it? Okay. Who's
Price
the guy?
for it.
who's the
All right,
guy?
hold them up. Adam's
Antibiotic.
going with $75,000. Frank is going with $48,000, and Shane is going with $80,000.
Oh, come
Wow,
on.
you guys are pretty well grouped in there. Adam and
If
Shane
I
are
lose it.
within 5,000 of each other, And Frank went a little bit lower. You know what the answer was?
No.
$104,000. Yeah, Shane
Yeah.
gets the W on that one. It was purchased by a lipospheric vitamin C. It's like a trademark special type of vitamin C that uses liposomes or liposomes made from essential phospholipids. You can see that I didn't actually read this description before I wrote
Is
it
it
down.
like gummy vitamins? That's all I need to know.
Now my kids slam those gummy vitamins. All right, next up. So it was purchased by a company that's actually using it. Good use of the domain name. Shane was closest. Next
That's
up,
good.
we're going to go down under, and the domain name is cloud.com.au.
Ooh.
Cloud.com.au. What did it sell for in US dollars?
Just so Adam doesn't think I'm cheating.
All right. All right, Adam's still writing. Okay, hold him up, gentlemen. All right, Shane is going with 48,000. Frank is going for 75,000, and Adam is going for 35,000. Now, did you guys realize that Cloud.io just sold? What did that sell for? 45,000. Cloud.io.
Around 50.
50,000. Yeah.
50.
So you guys thought about that when you were writing down your answer?
I'll say yes.
No.
All right. So so you guys are pretty well grouped in there. If I were to say 5 figures, you guys would be like, yeah, it's going to be in the 5 figures. If it was a .com, would it be 6 figures or 7 figures?
6.
High 6.
Mid 6.
Is that how you thought about this, Frank? Did you say
No,
.com would be mid 6, so .com.au, which is,
Australians are adventuresome, wildcatting bunch, and I could see them going higher. It's an established space down there. Cloud is kind of over cloud up here, but maybe they're down there. Cloud's still a very hot term. I could see somebody trading that and trying to get top dollar at the very end of the,
All
not
right.
the end, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like the ice bucket challenge. We don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, none of
get
it's
them
on
cool.
the IO.
I
Maybe
thought
not
you said you thought of IO. All
No,
right.
not me.
The correct answer is $27,875. Adam gets the W on that one. It was sold to an Australian cloud hosting company. Next generation of SSD-based cloud hosting powered by Dell. 27,000. So that seems like a pretty good buy on the retail value.
That is a good buy for that one.
Good for them. Making good use of it. Netfleet helped them buy that one, or they bought it through Netfleet. All right, last up, Frank, you have an opportunity to tie it up here. The domain is
Redeem myself.
Intentio.com. Intentio. INTENTIO.com.
Could you please use that in a sentence?
I plan to Intentio my way to the end of this game. Intentio.com. What do you think it sold for?
Toughie. Could be all over the map.
It's gotta
Why
be
could
a
it be all
brand.
over the map, Frank?
Well,
I'm gonna guess you're playing with us.
Hang on, give me a minute. Don't hold them up
Don't
yet.
try to guess me to try
I'm
and
guessing
win the game,
you.
Adam.
How you play this.
I'm like a
I
championship poker player. You can never tell what's
What
underneath
does
the
it mean
smile.
anyway?
All right, you guys ready? Hold them up. Adam wrote $20,000.
Yeah, we're all
Frank
guessing.
wrote
We're all playing here.
$32,000, and Shane wrote $45,000. They just kept going up in price. Wow, Intentio. What the hell does that mean? That you guys thought it was worth 5 figures?
Yeah, it's a really brandable variant.
It must mean something, maybe in Italian or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it ends in IO. I hear that's a good thing.
Yeah.
No, but it's Intentio.com. It's not intent.
I know.
Well,
All right.
Go look and see what it is. Who knows?
Yeah, well, it's actually a 360-degree holistic multidisciplinary approach to fitness.
I was going to say that, but
And
Yeah.
you know who's closest? Adam
Shane.
with 20.
Oh.
This sold for $24,000.
Shane,
I've
you
been
want
shut
my
out
address?
today.
Shane, you want my address for those medals?
Frank Schilling, how does it feel to get shut out in the Name That Price game?
Yeah, I better get used to it. I'm
Is it
on my way
humbling?
down. I
That's
jumped
what
the
happens
shark.
when you raise, have a minimum value on your names. What was he saying before?
Give those
The power-
medals over to Adam, Shane. We have to ship those week to week.
The power of no.
there's a lot of third place finishes in there.
BON.
All I can ask is that Frank doesn't teach my wife the power of no.
I promise I won't.
All right, we got a couple of user questions. First, let's talk about .football. You bought some .football domains recently, Adam?
I did lots. And
Lots? How many?
Rattle off a few for us, Adam.
I'll give you one that he'll be interested in, Seattle.football. And not because, now what I'm doing is matching them up with lower teams and doing their websites for them for free.
Wow.
There are teams in Seattle that can't afford websites, and I figured it'd be the good thing to do for them.
Wow.
And also protect against any possibility. So I've got some good ones. I've got like really good ones that have lots of teams in different cities. So I went for team names rather than things that would be unique, like Buccaneers or something like that. I mean, I wanted to avoid a lot of that stuff, but something like Chicago football, definitely a decent name.
Solid.
There's a lot of good ones. I know that there's I have a lot of others that I picked.
So you're going to build out Seattle.football, for example, but if I do a who is lookup, I can see that it's for sale, and I see that...
that's just because I temporarily parked them with Frank for now in domain name sales. It's not really going to be for sale.
Gotcha.
Well, everything's for sale eventually, but for now, all these sites are going to be dedicated to minor league teams in their areas.
All right.
That's good.
Cool.
Those are good names.
Hey, Shane, did you pick up any .football domains? Shane?
Let me just give you one more while he's frozen. There's nothing to do in Nebraska. There's nothing to do in Nebraska except football, so Nebraska.football. And they have thousands of teams.
I like that one too. I like all the geos, in a lot of those types of meaningful noun name endings. They're good.
Shane, you didn't get any .footballs?
No, I think that is soccer. I'm from the European part of Central Illinois, so it's confusing to me. Confusing.
I hear you. All right, and Frank, you didn't buy any because it's not your extension, right?
We looked at applying for .football, but then we figured we'd have to apply for .basketball and .baseball, and then we thought we'd be against a lot of league stuff, and there'd be a lot of auctions, and we kind of talked ourselves out of it. That's sort of but I like the strings. I really, really do.
Yeah.
It'd be great to be in there.
And I've got another friend that bought a couple .footballs, and they like them as well. So I think it's a good string. Hey, question from Oren Arbit. Oren has a large portfolio of LLLL.com domains. Similar to what you just did, Adam. What's the best place, in your guys' opinion, to sell them for the highest price? DN Forum, Flippa, GoDaddy, Sado, NameJet, domain name sales. What do you say when he wants to sell the entire portfolio?
So I'll let Frank take this one after, but I sold a few thousand just by typing in all in URL with a colon and then the 4 letters. It tells me every company that has those 4 letters is their name or their page or something. It gave me a huge database to extract and sell a lot to.
But that's on an individual domain basis, right, Adam?
It's individual. You're never going to maximize on portfolio sales. Listen, I sold a bunch of mine when I didn't have the patience to go through them individually anymore, and I was looking to invest in another project.
Yeah.
But I did sell I had these for 7, 8 years. I had 3,500 of them, and I sold a ton of them.
Good.
Yep. Shane, what were you going to say?
But I didn't know. Is the question to move the whole portfolio at once or just liquidate the whole portfolio?
I think he wants to, it's not clear. Let's go with liquidate the entire portfolio.
You're only going to sell them like that to domainers, and domainers are the worst ones to sell to.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty good times right now for 4Ls.
Yeah, and you know what? If you put them all up for sale on any market, you'll eventually attract. It's just like putting bait in the water. You'll eventually get somebody who'll inquire. More often than not, it'll be you'll find eventually the brokers that are brokering a lot of these deals, and then you'll be able to get them done. You are better off working with like a good platform that'll follow up, work with a lot of these brokers, help us massage the deal. Unless you're a really full timer.
Yeah. Hey,
it's worth it to pay commission to get something.
Hey, Frank, question from username Madhavan. With all these new TLDs coming out, would you today buy a .info domain if it had massive search volume for that phrase or word?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it were really, really resonant and something really great, of course. Yeah, I think info could have a resurgence over time because of the new GTLD adventure. You've got same with .travel. I mean, that's long ridiculed, but it's a great string. And it's been ridiculed because travel launched with it was a closed TLD with rules and hanky issues.
Still is.
Yeah, there you go. But they're trying to change that.
Well, if anybody has a travel number I can use, I want to register a bunch, so let me know.
Yeah, I mean, you'll hear about it relaunch. They're applying to ICANN to try to relaunch it and change some of those hanky rules to make it easier to use so that it quacks more like a new GTLD.
Yeah.
And as that happens, think about it. .jobs was a great one, right? And it's run really well by my dear friend Tom Imbrescia up in Ohio. And he's but I mean he's doing fine with it as a registry operator, but I think that string has a lot more potential if it were to like have
it totally does. Every few years I try and figure out how to buy a single .jobs, and like I always hit my head against the wall. I can't figure it out.
He's not doing great. He's still in Ohio.
Well, he's also in Palm Beach. And
Frank, what kind of .info domain would it need to be in order for you to say I would buy that today?
It'd have to be something really big, like, I like USA.info or, you know what I mean? Something, mortgage.info, things like that,
All right. Adam, do you agree with Frank's perspective on .info?
I do, and like he said, some of those are great. Anything that makes sense, that's an actual information site, makes sense. Some of the stuff that people are doing with those don't make sense, but something like cancer.info, leukemia, those are all great.
Yeah. All right.
It had its resurgence.
Say it again, Shane.
It did have its resurgence. Last year on Flippa.info was going crazy.
Yeah,
so they sold some high valued. Yeah.
More of it'll come. None of these. We're still around. We're not retiring, right? And we've got a lot of good names we're holding on to. There's a whole bunch of new people coming up, young kids, people who are like discovering the industry. They're not going to leave. They're going to get some names. The industry is growing.
Yeah. Last question was directed towards you, Adam. Steven wrote in and said, great show when you discussed flexiblealuminumbatteries.com that you bought. He owns powerwallbattery.com and powerwallbatteries.com. Do you think that he should build out information sites or wait for when Tesla starts making these Powerwall batteries? What do you think?
I'm looking at them now. I would definitely go ahead and build out the site. Now, don't wait till a lot of other people have got the names and built a site. Get in there, get your foot down, and you've got the great domain for it. Now's the time to build a site and be the leader rather than a follower when everybody else comes out.
I'd wait. I don't know that that's the right name. I think, in time, like after they come out and they go to market, they could change the name or rebrand to something else generic. So I just stay close on that and watch what people are doing in case they decide to call them something else at the last minute and that takes off, But
if they don't decide to call it something else, then you've got a seasoned website that has content that could be ranking number one by that time.
Yeah, totally.
It's a risk either way, right?
The only issue is they've already trademarked the term Powerwall, so.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I liken it to e-cigs. Everybody's like, oh, e-cigs are really big. We're going to get e-cig names. And then now it's called vaping. Everybody's calling it vape this, vape that. You know what I mean? And which is it? So it's kind of like if you can be early and get the wrong generic.
So I thought vaping was just for marijuana. At first I thought it was for cigarettes and people called it vaping. But then up here in Seattle, people are like, no, that's when you're like putting the marijuana over the oil or whatever and vaping it in.
Well, maybe only in Seattle and Colorado.
Maybe in Seattle. I don't know. All right. That's it for this show. 30 seconds apiece to promote anything you want. Talk about what's going on, anything you have coming up new, any place you're going to be. Let's start with Adam. Anything you want to promote?
I knew you were going to call me first because I didn't know what I was going to promote. Let's go with, since we do portfolio reviews here, go to adamdicker.com and get a portfolio review so you know if you're on the right track or not, because you're not going to be able to fit them all in on the show. But, other than that, keep doing what you're doing.
All right. Frank Schilling. Anything you want to talk about that's up and coming with you?
I'm going on vacation.
Where are you going on vacation?
I'm going to Europe. I'm going to Europe for.
You live in the Cayman Islands. You need a vacation?
I know. He needs to go find some cloudy weather.
Chicago.
I'm going to take the kids and the missus to all over Europe, Chevy Chase style. We're driving. But in the meantime, folks, you've got to pay to renew your names anyway. You might as well move them to a registrar where they're going to be solid, safe, and easier to sell. Uniregistry is the place where you want to be.
I thought you were going to say you need to click that button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen.
Or is it
it could be over here. I'm not sure. Click that. Click that little logo right here.
Yes, there you go, right up here.
All right. Hey, Shane, before we get to your promotion, what is the question that you want to ask Frank?
Well, it wasn't just Frank. It was everybody. What is your breakfast of choice? Hours of choice. Morning.
Great question.
Adam, what's your breakfast of choice?
Mine, a couple eggs, protein.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. And some almond milk. That's about it.
I have pretty much the same breakfast every morning. If you want to get to me, I have a gluten-free oatmeal here in the company kitchen that the chef makes with made with almond milk. So no animal protein in that one. And then I put in a handful of walnuts and some raisins. And that is a handful of walnuts will cut your lifetime cancer risk by 40%.
What?
So,
I
yeah.
gotta research that. 40%.
40% every day. A handful
Walnuts.
of walnuts. Yeah.
All right.
Unsalted walnuts. Yeah.
Salted actually increases it by 20%. No, I'm just joking.
May well do. May well do.
Mike, what do you eat?
Shane, what do you eat, man?
I eat a bowl of Chex with blueberries, strawberries, bananas, walnuts, and almond milk every morning forever.
Seriously, that's why you guys look 20 years younger than me.
It's funny, we're all on the almond milk.
Yeah, almond milk it tastes just like milk, and no other animal in the world drinks milk after they're weaned off their mom's breast. Why? I don't get it.
Yeah, no animal protein. Animal protein can be tough. I love my steak.
Animal, Shane, taking it further, no animal drinks another animal's milk.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I hate the dairy farmers. They're good, hardworking people, but I don't dairy. I mean, I'm not. It's not about the animals. It's just I don't need to take in milk.
Yeah, dairy causes more disease. Yeah, there's a study in World War II when there was no milk because it was all confiscated for the war effort, and people who basically had no animal protein, and cancer rates went way, way down. And then right after the war, cancer rates went way, way back up. It's an easy to Google study. So animal protein is generally bad.
Mike, what about you? And we're going to have to call this Domains and Dairy.
I know. I have to go to gotmilk.com to reference these studies of yours, Frank.
You just lost an advertiser.
Yeah. I'm an eggs guy. I like my eggs. I like to have an omelet a few days a week, and then the other, when I'm swimming, I want to get some protein in, and then on the other days, I usually do like a cereal with banana and
that's good.
Cow milk.
Yeah,
I like my milk.
No, rebel.
Sorry.
A lot of potassium in the banana. That's good.
Definitely. All right, if you receive benefit from today's show, please post a comment and thank today's Sherpas. Thanks to Linda Mondu for submitting her portfolio and making a generous donation to the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center. Thanks to NameJet for submitting their portfolio and sponsoring the Domain Sherpa Review. And thanks again to our Domain Sherpa panel, Adam Dicker, Frank Schilling, and Shane Cultura, for sharing their experience and insights. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Michael. It was fun. Take care.